But feel free to masturbate to the sound of Goat's voice.
Hey, well, you do what you got to do. Yeah, like Nafun was saying, we'll kind of keep any questions till the end just to kind of keep the flow of the meeting moving. But if you want to PM or DM Fat Goat, that would be myself. With any questions you may have, we'll go over those towards the end, and we'll read them out to the meeting here, and whoever has the answer for it, we'll go ahead and answer it. So if you want to send me DMs with your questions during the meeting, that'd be great. Nafin, not. I should know this by now. But yeah, we'll go ahead and get started. I'm recording there. So just a general intro for people that may be new or not around. I'm Fat Goat. You can call me Goat. I've been called a lot of other things, but I'm kind of the guild leader of the WoW Classic Guild here. We've been doing surprisingly, we shouldn't say surprisingly, but really well since launch. Many of you don't know, but we only had about 20 or 25 people when we started the Classic Guild when we were recruiting before launch, and it's grown quite a bit. So as you guys can see, we're currently running 3 raids with about 40 people each, which is just phenomenal. I mean, not many guilds can say that, and it's definitely something to be proud of. Speaking of that, we do have everyone in this room already should know about our Dkp Rate Signup site. If you don't, make sure you go there and sign up immediately. We do want to make people aware that, and we know it is a pain to kind of sign up each week for the raids, but it helps out the raid leaders tremendously with planning. So it only takes about a few minutes a day, and we make sure we get the raids up there at least a week, if not more, ahead of time. So please go sign up. I'll put the link here in the WoW members chat channel, even though you all should have it. It's also pinned. So moving on to the next topic I just want to talk about, we have had a member Google Doc that we've used since launch that has a lot of information many of you might not know about. It has info about our raids, has info about what you might need to obtain the raider rank, kind of goes over who the officers are, crafting professions, etc. Litha has been putting a tremendous amount of work into that sheet the past week or so. So please make sure you check that out. And if you have any questions, just let us know. That is also pinned in the WoW members text channel. Like I was saying, in that Google Doc, you'll find a few different things. We have class leads in the guild for each class. And we know that a lot of people have played WoW since day one, and they really know how to play their class. But there are people like myself who surprisingly never really played WoW seriously. So we do have these class leads there for a resource for anyone within the guild to use at any time. No matter what raid you're in, if you're in the non-DKP raid, any of the DKP raids, feel free if you need help or want to ask questions. We also have the class text channels here in Discord. So feel free to utilize those. And in addition to those people that are the class leads, those are the people that you would reach out to obtain the raider rank in game. And again, you can find what's required to obtain that rank within the Google Doc that's pinned in the member doc in the member channel. Let's see. So the next thing here on the agenda I wanted to go over real quick is we do have a few new people, but we've kind of come to find out that there's a lot of people that live somewhat near each other, kind of on the West Coast, and people wanted me to set up a poll for people to find out where or when would be a good time to have actual in-person Acolyte Guild meetup. So we did start a poll probably about a month or two ago during the holidays, and we had 71 people reply to it, and it seems there's 3 kind of major locations that people are interested in meeting at. Those 3 would be Texas, Arizona, or California. So I have gone ahead and created like step 2 of step 3 of the poll that we're doing, and we're going to find out which of those 3 people would prefer to meet at most, and also kind of the month of the year you'd prefer to meet. Once we find that out, because we know Texas is like a gigantic state, step 3 would kind of narrowing it down to a city. So I'm going to go ahead and put this link in the WoW members text channel right now if people want to go ahead and fill that out. Obviously, this is not required. It's just something that people wanted us to put forth for people to kind of organize to meet up in person. If I could find that channel. There we go. I went and put that link in the WoW members channel there. And again, like we said, we've had quite a few new people join. There's been many people that have been here since launch, and that's amazing. And for those that don't know, within our Discord, it's kind of a large Discord because we are within multiple MMOs at one time. But on the right-hand side, you notice that all the officers will have blue names. Our current officers for WoW at the moment are Curse, Gears, Litha, Naffin, Never, Rickety, Zazzy, and Zombie. So if you guys don't know who they are, just reach out to them, introduce yourself, say hi. They're super friendly. They're always, within Discord if you need to reach them, or in-game if they're in-game. Yeah, well, most of them are. Zazzy's Canadian, but we don't hold that against them too much.
I do.
But with that being said, don't worry, I'm not going to talk all night. With that being said, I did have one more announcement, though. We are planning on adding Opa as our newest recruitment officer. So congrats to Opa on that. He has been doing a tremendous job of reaching out to new people, getting them set up in our Discord, getting them to follow through with the application process, getting them tagged in-game and in Discord. So he's definitely gone above and beyond his daily duties. So we want to congratulate him, and we'll be promoting him in-game tonight and in Discord later as well.
Thanks, everyone.
Congrats.
Don't do it.
It's a trap.
It's a trap. Okay, let's see. I think that's all I had on my agenda here. Like I said, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to PM me, and at the end of the meeting, we'll go ahead and go through the questions. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Gears. He's going to talk a little bit about the non-Dkp rate and some upcoming BWL stuff.
Hello, I'm Gears, and I am the raid leader for the non-DKP team. There is Litha, she's the loot master and officer, and then Rickety and Goat are officers and leaders in that group as well. They handle more of the, if someone's got a problem, they can, during raid. Fat Goat's really good at answering whispers. So we'll start with BWL. Our plan is we are going to, but truth be told, we are not as hardcore as some of our beautiful guild members. So if we don't do it the first week, we don't do it. We're going to push as far as we can. I have a feeling we'll get pretty far, but it's not MC. Our BWL is pretty simple. We have a loot prio system. That's probably the biggest thing that's going to be up for us, since we don't use DKP and we have an open role loot system. We want to try and make it still a raid, and where we push members forward and make sure the raid is moving forward in a proper trajectory. So we have a pinned message in the WoW After Hours Discord. Everyone should be able to see it. Anyone who wants to see it can. It shows things like what items will go to tanks before DPS, and what type of DPS and whatnot. That's the biggest thing for BWL. It will get updated when more raids get announced on their dates, or when it gets closer to the time. Other than that, that's pretty much our plan for BWL. We are recruiting, which I know everyone is, but we do want to get a nice number of people. We have 35 that are constantly logging on, and there's always a good dance of people not being on for days. Our raid days are Tuesday, Wednesday, 6:30 to, or 7:30. Sorry, not you guys. 7:30 to 10:30 p.m. Server time. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Short, sweet, to the point. If you have questions or concerns, like we said earlier, please message Fat Goat. And that's about it.
Or post them in the after hours.
Yes, or in the after hours channel, exactly. And now Naffin can take it away.
I'd like to take a moment and welcome all our new faces. We've had a lot of new members these last couple of weeks, and it's nice to see you here. We're really glad to have you, and we are just stoked to have 3 raid groups running strong. All of them at 10 of 10 MC, all of them at 1 of 1 in Ixia, and ready to go into BlackWing Lair. And I froze. Am I broadcasting?
Yes.
Son of a bitch.
Yep.
Language.
This happens all the time, guys. Don't worry about it.
Regarding the DKP Blue and DKP Orange raids, I'd like to remind people that you are free to move back and forth between them as your schedule permits. The DKP raids are one large raid group, not 2 discrete smaller ones. You raiding with either blue on Tuesdays or orange on Wednesdays will count for your attendance, and your DKP is equally spendable in either of them. That being said, in order to make sure that both raid groups stay viable and prevent loot from rotting, we will sometimes, from week to week, ask people to raid with one or the other if they can. It's simply a matter of making sure that both groups get the content down with as little wasted loot as possible. Nothing more. Firstly, if you haven't heard on the grapevine, there is a new DKP primer. I linked it in the DKP Raids channel. It's long. I'm not going to pretend it isn't, but it's not a document that necessarily needs to be read in its entirety. It's more of a reference guide than a terms of service agreement. It has an easily navigable table of contents, and you really only need to read the parts that pertain to you. For example, there are sections with step-by-step tutorials for using the DKP site and for using AcoBid, and most of you should already know how to do those things. So, as always, if you have any questions or objections to any of the rules, especially the loot priorities, which are listed in the appendices, please contact me on Discord. Secondly, as you will find outlined in the DKP primer, we have instituted a system for main changes. Beginning with Holy Life's main change to his warrior, you may buy a main change with DKP. The cost is determined by our relative need for both the source class and the destination class. To put it simply, if we need your old class more than we need your new class, it's going to cost you some DKP when you change. The more we needed your old class and the less we need your new class, the more it's going to cost. It's a sliding scale. Additionally, main changing will reset you to Acolyte rank until you meet your new class's requirements, and main changes are limited to once every 90 days. Again, a full explanation can be found in the new DKP primer. Thirdly, you will find outlined in the new primer the new raider requirements for Phase 3. These requirements will not go live until February 12th, so if you don't meet them yet, you don't need to fret about getting demoted or losing loot priority, anything like that. They are considerably higher than the old raider recs, but we've had 14 weeks of Molten Core and a month of Voltrak Valley. When you meet the Phase 3 raider requirements, not including the resist requirements, you may requisition crafting materials from the guild bank to have epic resist gear made. We'll try to get a list set up this week in the crafting request channel of who has which of the epic patterns. Some of you may note that you need items to make raider that you can't actually craft yet because they come out in Phase 3. If this is the case, that requirement will be considered met when you've acquired the mats for the item. Zazzy will be able to craft Nightfall on day 1, and we will provide the Fiery and Lava cores. Please note we will continue to use the old raider requirements, the current ones, until the launch of BlackWing Lair. And finally, what I'm sure is what you all actually care about, how we're handling the launch of BlackWing Lair. More precisely, who is going to raid in the first week? The answer to that is everyone, hopefully. To be honest, we were shocked that they gave us a month's notice on its release. That's unprecedented for them. But we were more shocked that its release is on a Wednesday, 2 days before Valentine's Day. We've got 4 more weeks to gear up and recruit. Our hope is to be able to run 2 DKP raids in BlackWing Lair the first week, ideally an even split with both Downing Nefarian. But while that is our plan, it is not our first priority. Our first priority is to make sure that a raid clears BlackWing Lair in its first week. And In the event that we are not confident of our ability to clear BlackWing Lair by evenly splitting into 2 raids, we'll create the strongest single group for a Wednesday, Thursday, Sunday raid schedule in the first week. And then we'll form a second BlackWing Lair group for Friday with the people who didn't get in the first raid. That's if this is necessary. We're hoping it won't be, but if it is, the decision on who gets in that first week will be based on an optimal class makeup for the raid, an ability to attend all of the scheduled raids, and then finally a willingness to go full consumables. It will not be determined by whether you've been raiding Tuesday, Thursday, or Wednesday, Friday. That will have absolutely nothing to do with it. I realize this sounds extreme, but one of the painful realities of a raiding guild is if you're not on top of content, you're going to be the target of headhunters and poachers from other guilds. And that just makes recruiting that much harder. Those of us who have been with us since launch may remember that we took a week off in September from rag attempts to let people recuperate. And as a result, both CSM and Hourglass beat us to rag. That made recruitment a lot harder, and it is not something we wish to go through again with Nefarian. In closing, I'd like to reiterate that it is not in any way our intention to have a 2-tiered system with the orange and blue raids, but the importance of getting Nefarian down the first week, coupled with BlackWing Lair dropping on a Wednesday 2 days before Valentine's Day, means that it is likely that we will only be able to field 1 Nefarian-capable raid in the first week. Whether you raid Tuesdays or Wednesdays will have no effect on whether you get into that raid. In the event that we don't feel we can field 2 strong BlackWing Lair raid groups in the following week after that, we will rotate as many people as possible in who did not get in the previous week. Because getting as many people as possible experience with the content is the key to getting BlackWing Lair down and on farm for both raids. Just as starting the second DKP group as a partial pug was a necessary sacrifice, so is the probability of having to min-max for our first week of BlackWing Lair. We just ask that you trust us when we tell you that it's temporary and that everyone will get to see the dungeon. Our goal is to keep Acolytes big and strong so that it can weather the lulls in content, survive the Shadowlands flu, and be ready when next Ramus comes out so that each and every one of us can see Healthy's Oddfall. Thank you.
Nathan, I have one question.
Please PM it to GOAT.
Oh, it was about your race schedule, if possible.
Yeah, if you just want to shoot me that PM, Craig, we're gonna have all the questions at the end there.
Okay.
Just so we could keep things moving here, because we do have a couple other things we want to talk about real quick. But thank you for that, Nathan. That was very very thorough and very good. And anyone with any questions on that, just feel free to shoot me a PM while we continue on here with the meeting. And the next person, I believe, that wants to talk a little bit about some guild stuff would be our good man, the DKP Master, Curse.
Yeah, so I want to talk to you guys something, and it's just as serious as rating, I feel, and that is a movie night. So I've got a couple people. We've been trying to plan this for a while, and we've had some people bring it up. Craig Griffin and Nafin have talked about it. Basically, we want to get everybody together for a movie night. Maybe it'll be a bi-weekly thing, but we're going to start off with just one and see how it goes. I'm going to throw up a poll tonight after, I guess it won't be a poll. It'll be a form tonight that we can bi-week. Wait, Nafin's saying bi-weekly is twice a week. Is that not the right word? What's every other week?
Semi-weekly.
Whatever. Every other week. Twice a week too. It doesn't matter. Whatever people want to do. Basically, I'll throw up a Google form tonight that you guys can suggest movies that you might want to watch, and then I'll have that up for a couple days, and then we'll make a poll out of that, and people can vote on which movie we actually want to watch, and then we'll get everybody into a voice chat and watch a movie. So that's pretty much it. Well, hopefully it'll be a fun time and get everybody together.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Curse. We do have a few questions here. Sally from Omaha, go ahead. No, I'm just kidding. So, Gears, you wanted to say something real quick? I'm going to ask the officers if they have anything else to say too before we start wrapping up into the questions. But I know Gears had something he did want to bring up.
I do. So, it wasn't related to the raid, which is why I didn't bring it. But I wanted to give a big thanks to everyone who is getting their BWL attunement. It is very important that we get it done now because we do not want to have to do it attuned. Thank you. We don't want to do it the night before panicking and being like, oh, let's do this. We gotta do a group like we did with Oni. We don't want to keep doing Oni attunements over and over again, just like we don't want to do BWL attunements over and over again. So it's very appreciated that you guys do that. Secondly, I would like to give a shout out to Hateries. I wanted to thank you for, I understand we have Cinder Cloak recipes and stuff, but you took the time to farm and did everything required to get the cloak so that we have another person to make it. And I want to thank everyone else who is pushing hard to make sure that this guild is as strong as it can be, because we do want to last and we do want to stay together and have a lot of fun. And another community building thing that we have is the DJ channel, which we can have. I'll have Goat link later. That once in a while, mainly on weekends, we get together anywhere from 5 to 20 of us, and it cycles out in songs, and we laugh, have fun, and mess around, because community building is very important, and we want to make sure that everyone understands that there is no separation. We're all one giant team, and we need to keep it that way.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely. I'll put that link in the WoW members channel here after the meeting here. But yeah, that's a good reminder, Gears, because we do have some fun in there for sure. We'll go. Was there anything else any of the officers wanted to say before I start moving into the questions here? Alrighty. I guess we'll just go ahead and move right on into the questions. Stiletto did have a question for the non-DKP raid, so this is going towards you, Gears, but he's asking, are we going to start having the guild collectively gather all raid buffs, have more consumables on them, world buff, juju powers, etc.?
So my answer to that, and I'll have to repeat it for the people who aren't able to make it if they can't watch the video or the recording of this, is yes, we're going to be requiring people to help each other out. And to help each other out, because I know that people do have jobs, children, lives, and I understand. Me, for example, I got nothing else to do. I will be farming and helping get the stuff that's required, but we need to make sure people help. We can't rely on 1 to 4 people. It is a difficult thing. That's for the non-DKP raid. I can't speak for the whole, guild, but that is something. And consumables are required. Exactly.
Okay, awesome. Let's see here. Since I'll skip ahead, since we're kind of staying on the path of the non-DKP here. Arok, who is kind of recently new, he had a question for Gears as well for the After Hours rating group. He was wondering if we'll be rating BWL at launch, and are we planning on continuing to clear MC or Oni to help with the BWL progression?
We will be doing BWL at launch. We will push as far as we can. Like I said before, but we need to make sure people are getting on and attuned, and we need to make sure we're getting that done. The thing with MC and Oni is, yes, we will, but currently we only raid Tuesday, Wednesday. If it takes 2 days to get BWL down, people are going to have to sacrifice and understand that they either can make it on an off night or they can't make it, and thus will not be able to get the benefit of doing those old raids, because there are still items from MC and Oni, and I'm sure the DKP raid would say the same, that you're going to have to farm until the end of time to make sure people have it, because they're just that good.
Okay, awesome. Let's see here. And then I guess it looks like the last one we have for the After Hours raid at the moment is from good old Griffin. He's wondering, for the After Hours raid, is there any specific class or roles that we are looking for so others can help with recruitment, like Opa or Griffin, etc.?
Yeah. First off, thank you for everyone who's helping. It is amazing, and I appreciate it. Look, we need, believe it or not, priests. All our priests have either we've allowed to switch because it helped the raid or have disappeared. We need priest healers. And a couple of just DPS, preferably warriors or rogues, but because BWL is very melee intensive, a lot of moving. But yeah, mainly priests right now.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, thanks, Gears. Appreciate that for sure. And always, as we were saying, if anyone has any questions about our raids, about anything in the guild, getting friends invited, don't hesitate to reach out to any of the blue names, any of the officers. They're all super friendly, and we're all here to help. So moving on to that, Nafin, I think we have a couple questions for you here. Looks like Crake is wondering, he wanted to make sure that the Wednesday-Thursday raid schedule only applies to the first week of BWO release. He's not sure if you would be as keen on this as, I guess that was more towards me, but he was hoping to get some more direct info on it.
Yeah, it's only for the first week because they're dropping BlackWing Lair on a Wednesday, and then Friday is Valentine's Day. I mean, it's just a really, really messed up week. That Wednesday, Thursday, Sunday raid schedule for BlackWing Lair, that is only for the first week.
Okay, sounds good. Looks like the next question here, Nafin, is from Opa. He's saying, once we meet raider requirements plus class BWL phase 3 requirements, is there a priority system for the epic fire resist gear class-wise? ?
Collect the mats that we don't have, ask for them, get them. No, there's not a priority. As long as you meet the requirements outside of the fire resist gear for a phase 3 raid ready, then you can request the mats if we have them.
All right.
I can't turn it off. My Discord is broken.
Then let's see. Okay. Nafin, looks like we have another question. It's from Caden. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but he's kind of a newer member here. He is wondering, how is the DKP looking for the transition to BWL? Is there going to be a rollover or a clean slate? ?
No. The DKP is as stands. Because it's a bid system, it should be self-regulating. Items will go for a...
For what?
Looks like we might have lost Nafin there for a minute.
I think he was going to say that items are going to go for an obscene amount of DKP at first.
So the MC DKP is for BWL as well? You're not starting over?
No, there's no reset.
Okay.
Sorry, Nafin is having Discord problems. He's restarting.
Okay. Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, and about the Guild Bank mats, we have approximately 150 of the lava and the fiery cores, and approximately 400 core leather. So we do have quite a few mats, enough for Ani cloaks for everyone. We also have about 100 Ani scales as well.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I guess maybe this one is kind of for you. Starforsaken sent me a message asking, when do Oni cloaks go out? ?
We have quite a bit of rune cloth for making cindercloth cloaks, and quite a few fire essence of fire for cindercloth cloaks. I don't know when we're going to start making them, but we are going to start making them. Make a list of people's requests and get them made and get them out. We just are storing them in their mat format because it's a lot easier than storing 100 cloaks in individual slots.
I can actually answer that. The Ani cloaks will go out with just like other resist gear. When you meet your phase 3 raider requirement, contact an officer, and we'll get one made and sent to you. To finish answering the DKP question, there won't be a reset. It will be the same DKP system. The reason for that is that once people get everything they need out of Molten Core, if the DKP they're earning is only for Molten Core or is going to poof before the next content comes out, then they lose quite a bit of their incentive to actually show up for raids. And because it's a bid system, it should be self-regulating. The first week or two, things are going to go for really high prices, and that will drain a lot of DKP out of the system.
Okay. Yeah, awesome. This is kind of, I guess I'll just keep this ball rolling here, but Mima had a question. Nafin is kind of related to that DKP question, but he was wondering, won't the rollover of current DKP cause a problem of DKP being hoarded in anticipation for the new raids release?
I don't think it will be, because as long as items are being taken, we have no issue. We do have provisions in the document for punishing people who are letting upgrades rot because they want to hoard. But yeah, I mean, hoarding, there is a possibility, but we're watching for it. We're not really seeing anyone who's intentionally letting stuff go.
Okay, definitely. And the second part of Caden's question there, I didn't get to that, but is he's saying if and when the BWL groups are formed, if we cannot manage 2 full raid teams downing Nefarian and transition to 1 ultimate solid elite raid group, how does the raid comp get configured? Is there like say 7 hunters and all 7 hunters meet the raider requirements and full consumable willingness, or how does that get comprised?
We will swap people out on a weekly basis. The people who have to be, or rather the people who can be. If we have BlackWing Lair, we have 7 hunters. They all meet the requirements. We only take 4. Then 4 would go in the first week, and then the three of them would sit out. That 3 of the 4 that went would sit out the next week to make room for the 3 that sat out the first week. If that makes sense.
Okay. Let's see. The next question is from Dark. He was asking. He was wanting to know the guild bank, quote unquote, guild bank. Is that a global guild bank, or is that more DKP raid have their guild bank and the non-DKP raid has their guild bank? I believe they're separate, but if Nafoon or Litha or anybody want to comment on that.
The 2 DKP raids share one, but I believe the non-DKP raid have their own, which is called like Raid 2 Bank or something.
Yeah, we kept it separate, not out of out of spite. It was more out of some of the mats are expensive, and we didn't want expensive, rare, and we didn't want to put all that pressure and responsibility on Never or Nafin. So we kind of just made our own, but it's not like we wouldn't be willing to help if people needed help.
And I think Nev can correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, all the stuff that eventually makes it to gold format for buying stuff from the DKP guild bank could be purchased from anybody in the guild. Is that correct, Nev, once it goes to gold?
Yeah, the items that go to DKP or to gold, because the BOE epic items, they go to DKP first. Either ranks of materials can be purchased from anyone in the guild. You can't go negative DKP, but since you can donate to the guild, you can still, or you still donate to the DKP guild bank, you can still basically purchase your the ability to bid on DKP items. And we do have currently 3 epic BOEs in the bank: the Braces of Might, the Fell Heart Belt, and the Earth Fury Bracer. So if anyone's interested in that for themselves or for their alts, we do have them right now.
What you guys said does bring up a point of difficulty as well. Is we didn't want to have never be like, well, this is the ones that were donated from the non-DKP run, so we have to keep them separate so we don't have to have people worry about bidding on them, because as we don't use DKP, we don't make people bid. I don't even make people pay for the items with gold unless it is an epic item that was not in the run, or if they weren't in the run to get the item. We give it to the people, we give them mats, everything, and it was just simpler in our minds logistically. But we do have, if we're talking about the Ani cloak, we do have enough to fit slightly over half, about 25 to 30.
And in 4 more weeks, you'll likely have quite a few more. So
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Let's see. The next question is from Knight, who I believe is a more recent member. She is. This is more towards Never. As far as making contributions to the guild bank for DKP, do we need to notify anyone in game or elsewhere? And when does the DKP get credited each week?
Her Discord froze, but I'll answer. You should. Well, first of all, the instructions are in the what's it called, DKP and Guild Bank text channel. But you most likely just want to whisper or DM. Actually, it's better to DM Never on Discord, so there's a written paper trail for what you donated to the Guild Bank. Say exactly what you donated and what it's for, just so that there's a paper trail outside of the game.
I don't know what was said. My Discord froze and I had to restart it. So
You're just asking if they need to whisper you or send you a DM with their donation information. So I was just letting them know.
some people do send me a DM, some people don't. It's encouraged for people to send DMs. It's not necessary. Your donation will still be processed, and there's at least a paper trail on the DKP website for it.
Alrighty. And then, yeah, Cursor, Never, you might be able to answer that second part of that, was how soon does it kind of hit the DKP site? Is it just weekly, or a certain day, or?
I try to process DKP donations several times a week. I just processed them last night. I'll be processing them again tonight to make sure all of the donations for this past week are in, because I think people donated stuff today as well.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it goes for all DKP raid or guild bank. Is we just want to try to get it in there before the next time you could spend it. So if it's raids, sometimes I don't get around to putting them in until Monday night, but they'll hopefully always be in there when raid time rolls around on Tuesday.
That doesn't work. Raid IDs.
also it doesn't work, but it also is counterproductive to Nathan's first point about us being able to down the content completely as soon as possible to strengthen our ability to recruit if need.
Yeah, that was my main point with that. We are always going to have to recruit. Always. And if if you're not on the top of the content, it becomes infinitely harder. But what Kismet is suggesting wouldn't work because the one raid would get one raid ID, the other raid would get the other raid ID, and they wouldn't be able to combine.
Nathan, what's the ABCs of recruiting?
Always be recruiting.
Closing.
There you go. Okay, awesome. Yeah, I just had one more here from Got Beef. He sent me a message asking when the next DBH will be, and many of you probably don't even know what the hell that is, but within the Acolyte gaming community, we do have some kind of community-wide game or fun nights once in a while. The last one we had, I want to say it was a couple months ago, where we had some giveaways for some display, posters and whatnot, where we try to choose a game that most people can participate in that's either cheap or free. We try to do that. It's like an entire community because over time, we all currently play WoW right now, but maybe 4 years from now, 5 years, we might play a different game and you might play with other people that are playing Arcade at the moment, that kind of deal. So we try to do some community-wide fun stuff as well. So I will take that and see when I can get the next one of those going. But I believe that was our last question. So is there anything that the officers want to say in the meeting before we kind of close out? And if there's anyone that has any last minute questions, send them to me now. No? Okay. Silence is golden. Long-time listener, first-time caller. So I will make sure that I get this recording up onto our Acolyte YouTube page for those that did not. Like and subscribe. Send Nathan tells for his premium Snapchat. But yeah, no, I will get the meeting uploaded onto our YouTube channel. Probably not till later tonight or maybe tomorrow for those that were not able to come. And I just want to say I appreciate everyone being part of the guild here. I feel like we really have something special going here. Having 3 raids going, everyone getting along pretty much for the most part is pretty amazing. So I want everybody to keep that going. Feel free to be helpful within guild chat, in voice. We're all here together, and the end goal is just keep on going through all the content that WoW Classic brings out for the next few years. So thank you everybody for coming. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Have a good night, man.
I'd like to thank our sponsors. We don't have sponsors.
PETA.
Brought to you by Raid Shadow Legends.
You mean Raid Shadow Legends?
And viewers like you.
I hate all of you.